This is Jenny Kunkel, and in this video we're going to take a look at the update statement, and this is going to be used to update the data within a table. Now we can use an explicit value to set a column with, we can use a subquery to set a value with, we can also use some type of an aggregate function in a select statement to set our column value. We can use a numeric type expression to set the column value based off of the existing column value. In our from statement, which is not required, we can use join conditions. We can also indicate search conditions in our where clause. We can do all kinds of different things with updates. And let's go ahead and take a look at a couple things with SQL Server Management Studio. Now, when we're in our SQL Server Management Studio, we've been dealing with our DBO employees territories copy. This is what we essentially went in. We created the table structure. We inserted all of the data from the DBO employees territories in the prior video. And if we look at the columns, if we wanted to come in and try to update something, we have our employee ID and our territory ID, and those columns are both part of the primary key. Now, one of the things that we should realize as a best practice, we should never update any field that's in the primary key. That's just really a big no-no. We really would rather delete and remove the value and insert that new pair into the table. So we won't be looking at updating anything in the DBO employees territories copy table or even in the DBO employees territories table, because as I indicated, it's best practice not to update the primary key. Now, if I decide that I want to go ahead and try, we went ahead and inserted a record into the employees table in the last video. And this is going to show that it added my record to the employees table as our employee ID 11. Now, if I want to go through and update all of the information or most of the information, I'm not going to put in some of the address or phone numbers or photo or any of that kind of stuff. But if I want to put in much more data than what I currently have, because I have a lot of null values on that row, I can do that by using my update statement. And I can go ahead and specify the table that I want to update. And in this case, this is going to be my DBO employees. I'm also going to start this within a begin transaction so that I can roll it back. I'm going to go ahead and execute that. So it's in place. Now with my update, I need to indicate what fields I want to set. And this is going to be the title. I'm going to make this sales technical support. You really wouldn't want me selling anything. And then after that, I can specify more fields by adding a comma and then just putting in column name. So this is going to be title of courtesy. Set this equal to Miss. Add the next field, maybe the hire date. Let's go ahead and use the current date for that. We can use our getDate function. Set our city equal to Rockford. Our region equal to IL. And our country equal to USA. So that seems like enough fields. And I only want to update record 11, so I need to indicate a where clause. If I don't specify a where clause, then every row in the table is going to be updated with the data that I see here. So I'm going to specify employee ID 11. And if I execute that statement, it shows me that one row was affected. I can select asterisk from dbo.employees, and I should see my updated values in the table. We still have birth date null and address and a few others, but we have a lot more populated than what we previously had. Now, what happens if I decide that I have my reports to column and everybody that's 5 reporting to Stephen Buchanan, I want to update to report to me. So I can go ahead and use a subselect in my where clause. I'm going to initially set my reports to ID equal to a bogus value because maybe I screw up entering 11 for setting that reports to value. And we're going to see what happens with foreign key associations. So they come into play with our updates as well. So if I go ahead and do an update of my employees table, setting my reports to equal to 12, where, and in this case, this is going to be the reports to is equal to a subselect. So we're going to be selecting the employee ID and this is going to be from the dbo.employees table. And in this case, we have our last name equal to Buchanan and the first name equal to Stephen. Put in our ending parenthesis. If we execute this, we should see that we're getting the same type of messages that we saw with our insert statements. So those foreign keys are ensuring that our data integrity will be in place and not allow us to insert any data into the table where we do not have data in the employees table in this case, because that's the foreign key that's being used here. So that's good. Let's change this to a subselect, and we're going to select the employee ID, and this is going to be from dbo.employees, where the last name is equal to Kunkel. Now I know that there's no other Kunkels in the table. I can stop there, and that should suffice for updating that. Now if I rerun this, it should work. We have 3 rows that are impacted. Now if we look at our data in the table and scroll over to the side, we have the values that were previously reporting to Steve. They're now reporting to me. Now what else can we do? Well, I have a copy of the products table. So let's take a look at the products copy. And within our products copy, we have a unit price. And maybe we want to increase our price and have some type of a price change. And we want it to impact all of the products that are in our products table. We'll use our products copy to do this so we're not impacting the original table. And we can go ahead and do an update of the dbo.products. And we can set our unit price equal to the unit price times 1.05. So if we go ahead and look at what we have currently in our DBO products table, we can see that we have 18, 19, 10, 22, etc. Now if we update this, we have 77 rows that were affected by that update, and we can go in and look at our new price, and that should be essentially 5% more of the original price. So we can make those types of mass change type operations where we're going to change every row in a table. Typically when we go through the process of doing mass change, we want to make sure that we have a backup on our table before we would actually do that in case something goes wrong in running the real live scenario, so that we could roll back the transaction, essentially restore from a backup if we needed, if something went really wrong. So we have ways to mitigate some of the damage that might happen if something went off the rails. So in this case, that kind of covers our update statement. I'm going to go ahead and roll back all of the changes that I've done, pretty much setting everything back to its original state. There's no real differences with updating tables in Oracle, so we're going to skip looking at a detailed Oracle example in this video.